Hey Bat fans, Luke here, back with another video, and as we wrap up this Columbus Day holiday, I did want to put out a video. I haven't done one in a little bit, and I was trying to figure out which uh, book to kind of talk a little bit about, because I have a couple, but I did kind of realize, going back to the Black and White series, I did volume 1, 2, and 4, and never got around to doing volume 3, at least having it done and up on the channel. And with the new release of Batman Black and White, guess we'll call it volume 4, come out in December, I figured, hey, this is like a really a good sign to go ahead and do volume 3. So we are going to talk about volume 3. And the way this is going to work, I'm kind of going to use the approach a little bit how I did volume 4. In that, what I'm really going to do is just real quick kind of run through all of the stories we have in here. There's 33 in this volume. I really won't go too far in depth. What I will do is give you my ranking of them, whether you're the story is number 33 of 33, which is the worst, to say number 1, and also out of 5, just kind of give what my thoughts of it are. So without further ado, I said we go ahead and start off, and the first one is actually a story called A Moment in the Light, which is written by Joe Kelly with art by Aaron Weinsfeld. And I really did enjoy this book. This particular story. It was good. It starts off, it's a very detective-like story, and then it opens up. You see an encounter with Victor Zsasz, but all is not that it seems to be. There's a little small twist at the end, which I thought was pretty clever. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. Ranked this is actually number 12. And the reason why I didn't rank it a little bit higher, it's just the way the ending kind of came about and the twist that was shown in the story. To me, it felt like it maybe needed a couple more pages to kind of flush it out. So the ending just wasn't as smooth as I thought it could have been. So that's really why I held it back a little bit. But this was a fun story, great art too. Next story, it's called Fat City, a story by Mike McCann and Dave Gibbons, with art by Mike McCann. This one I actually gave a 2.5 out of 5, and I thought that was generally generous of me. I actually ranked this as the number 33 story, the worst one in the book. To me, basically what it is, it's another detective-ish type story where basically fat and grease that are being pumped in through the sewers actually infects people in Gotham. And there's an overweight person in here. You thought that'd be the person that ultimately would be the person behind it, but there's a little twist, and she actually sacrifices herself. Yeah, clunky story, and to be honest, the art I just couldn't get behind it, so that's why I gave it the rating that I did. Next story, Batman the Call. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5, and actually this is my favorite story in this book. A classic detective story. This is by Mark Schultz with art by Claudio Castellini. And Batman trying to solve a case, and in doing so, we do have collateral damage. We actually have someone innocent actually be killed, and Batman calls in Superman to kind of help this victim out. And it brings up the case of, Batman doing what he does. Does he do sometimes more harm than good? And, can you always rely on Superman to bail him out? It was a really good story, and I love that theme with Batman and Superman. You see every once in a while, but great art, great story. That's 4.5, and to be honest, I probably might have been a little too harsh on it. Wasn't perfect, but damn, it's a damn good story. Next story is The Lesson. I gave this a 3 out of 5, ranked this as at number 22. This is somewhat of a different approach to the inside of why Batman or Bruce Wayne chose to become a bat. It was clever. It was interesting. It wasn't like a bad story by any means, but it again, it just felt like needed a little more flushing out, and then the kind of tie in at the very end didn't feel as organic as it probably could have, but not bad. But that's where I kind of left it. Next story, A Day and Night in Black and White. I gave this a 4 out of 5 and ranked this as number 8. I'm not going to sit there and spoil too much in the story other than to say how to read it. Read across, then down this way. Being that you'll see a dichotomy of it's a Barbara Gordon story, where this is like the Barbara Gordon type approach, a little bit more of a silver age approach to storytelling, and this is all Batgirl here, and it weaves in really, really well. Overall, this was fun. Very good story. You do get kind of a feel a little bit like it was somewhat of the animated series too, but man, it was good, and it was very clever. Again, how you kind of read it. But man, this was good. Drawn by Dan DeCarlo and Terry Austin, written by Mike Carlin. So yeah, that was fun. Next story, The Bottom Line, story by Mike Golden, art by Jason Pearson. This one I gave a 3 out of 5, ranked it as number 23. It's like kind of like a silent story where it's just Batman going after bad guys in the Joker gang that have a bomb. It's simple. It's fun to look at. It just really, when it comes down to as far as substance, there's just really nothing there. That's why I kind of gave it the rating that I did. Next story, Here Be Monsters. This one, writer Paul Greist, art by Darwin Cook. This one was tough. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. Ranked this as number 13. I will say the art is beautiful to look at, and it's sort of like taking a scarecrow type approach to storytelling, where Batman's chasing someone back down and kind of runs into some sort of toxin where he sees things that are kind of scary and monsters, yada yada yada. This is a case where the art really outperformed the story. That's why I really wanted to get this a higher ranking, but it kind of is what it is. This is one you kind of enjoy the art more than the story, which it's, again, you've kind of seen something like this before, but it kind of is what it is. Overall, good though, just not as good on the writing portion, to say the least. Next one, Urban Legend. I gave this a 4 out of 5, ranked this as number 6. This one is cool. There's a twist in that there's a deal that's going down, and not in the up and up, but you're reading it and you're thinking it's one thing, and there's a twist in the end. That's not exactly what we all thought they were kind of pushing. But it comes down to really just how does Batman maintain that aura, where people don't know if he's real or not, if he's a myth or an urban legend, case may be, which was just a really clever story, and come down in the end, which was pretty clever. This was fun. Art was good, story was good, and I really like how they executed. So, yeah. Next one, Last Call at McSorley, is written by Mike W. Barr, pencils by Alan Davis. This one I gave a rating of 4 out of 5. Actually ranked this as number 9. Ever wonder how Batman gets the up and up on some people before they actually do it? Well, what if there's this place where the bad guys come and you can kind of get some intel? That's basically the gist. And there's actually a twist in this bar that's supposed to be actually closing down, but how it's kind of received. And the bar owner, he's a complete douche, just to put it bluntly. But this is the case where the positive outweigh the negative. This was a fun story. Again, yeah, but it took a really cool approach to a story. and kind of executed really well. So yeah, that's why I gave that the rating I did. 4 out of 5, ranked as number 9. Next one, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Story by Cyrus Boris and Chris Bachalo. I can't remember who did the artists, but neither here nor there. This one, I gave a 3.5 out of 5, ranked this as number 20. This is a story we've seen kind of before. An Arkham Asylum inmate who's really obsessed with Batman and kind of puts 2 and 2 together. You know, Bruce Wayne is Batman. But I don't know. To be honest, I was reading this and I was just like, that's Joker's daughter. Oh my goodness. And I just started having flashbacks to the bad Joker's daughter story we had in the New 52 and then during Nightwing. Neither here nor there. So maybe that's why I kind of soured my enjoyment of the story, but it is what it is. Art was gritty, to say the least, but yeah, 3.5 out of 5, ranking at number 20. Next story, Never Say Die. I gave this a 3 out of 5, ranked this as the number 24. It's a pretty simple detective story where there's a bad guy, kind of works for the Penguin, blah, blah, blah. It's simple, really, to be honest, really lacks some substance, and the twist at the end, it's kind of bad. So, yeah, shrugs. You'll see some of the pattern in some of these stories where the good ones are really good, but the ones you kind of find kind of like least enjoyable just really lack substance and was kind of clunky. And I don't know if it's just because you got like 8 pages to tell the stories in here, but it is what it is. This one, Thin Edge of a Dime. This one I gave a 3.5 out of 5. Actually ranked this as number 14. And it's actually a case of Batman trying to save an individual was actually attempting to commit suicide at the very end. And you actually see, the flip of a coin where the man does one thing and on the other side of the coin the man does the other. And interesting, but again, just good concept. I liked the duality of all this thing and kind of wondered if Two-Face would be kind of into this at all, but again, a little bit clunky. That's why I kind of gave it the rating that I did. Next one, No Escape. I gave this a 4.25 out of 5. Ranked this as number 3. This one was really good. It took a little bit of you get a little bit of back history of the origin of Batman, where you actually go and kind of learn some of the crafts and the masters, and this is one where he actually learns how to escape. You kind of go back to the Batman 66 where they have the death traps, and how does Batman get out of all these things? You even see it to these days. It's just how does Batman get him out of all these traps? And this actually kind of gives you some of that backstory. How did he learn? And this is a twist in this is that he gets in present day, where he's actually, and it's good because when you're putting those traps, it's like a puzzle. And who else in Batman's Rogue Gallery where they kind of play off on the puzzle, the riddle of being in the trap? It's Riddler, and it's actually Batman's old mentor being brought in by the Riddler to take Batman out. And it's a guarantee by the person who put him in the trap that Batman's going to die, but this is the trap that even he, when he was in his prime, when Batman was learning how to, learning from him, that even he couldn't do. And the twist at the very end I thought was pretty clever. So this one, it really added to the lore of Batman. I thought it was really clever, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. Art could have been maybe just a little bit better, but other than that, damn good story. So, next one, Punchline. Gave this a 3 out of 5, ranked this is number 26. This is a simple Harley Quinn story, silent issue-ish type approach of storytelling. This is a case, art was good, but really no substance to it. Very Harley-esque in what happens at the end, but this is written by Doug Alexander, by art by Rob Hayes, I guess. So, okay. Next one, Hands. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. Ranked this as number 2. Awesome detective story where actually Batman actually uncovers what appears to be something that was initially brushed off as kind of like a accident, or couldn't really find the person responsible, but Batman in doing so does find out who's responsible and gives um, the parent of a young one who passed a little closure, but in the end, the person that was ultimately responsible. Interesting twist. Awesome detective story. Street level, just awesome. Awesome story. Next one, Joyride. This one, or Two Ride, gave us a 3 out of 5. Ranked this number 27. Simple, bland, to be honest. Art was okay. Just really no substance to the storytelling. Keep saying that over and over again, but it kind of is what it is. Twists try to be kind of clever, but neither here nor there. The Monument. 3 out of 5. Ranked this as number 25. This is actually written by Darwin Cook. Art by Bill Ray. And this is one where you kind of see the effect of, a Batman monument. Some people are for it, some people against it. Kind of apropos what's going on today. Neither here nor there. It's somewhat of a decent twist in this, dealing with Hugo Strange, actually. But it was okay. But I don't know. It wasn't bad, but it is what it is. Next one, The Delusions of Alfred Pennyworth. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Ranked this as number 10. Story by Danielle Dwyer, art by Scott Morse. And this is basically a story of Alfred actually having encounters with, the ghost of Robin, and just clever. This even goes into, Alfred sitting there having tea and trying to share a cup with with Robin, even though he knows, this Jason Todd, not liking tea, but him sitting there and even seeing the tea, like just something like Robin kind of causing some trouble a little bit. I just thought it was just really awesome. Great approach to the story. It was clever and had a fun time reading it. So that's why I gave it the score that I did, 4 out of 5, ranking number 10. Next one, Cornered, score at 3.5 out of 5, ranked this number 16. This is a ground level story of crime. It's something you kind of seen where lack a little bit of an original substance in this. Sometimes people get in caught out some things that it's just gonna get them into trouble, and you kind of see it. The crime violence and turf wars and things like that. Twist at the end, Batman couldn't save him. Okay, really nothing bad with it, but nothing really good either, to be honest. It's just it is what it is. That's why I kind of gave it 16, kind of middle of the road. Next one, Fear is the Key, 3.5 out of 5, giving this number 15. This is a Scarecrow story. The art is pretty interesting, to say the least. The twist and how Scarecrow kind of gets wrapped into this, interesting. It's a simple story, but it was fun. So that's the ranking I gave it. This one scored. The story is called Untitled. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5. I actually ranked this number 32. It's someone who's kind of obsessive with Batman and Catwoman, and you kind of think this person has them trapped, and it turns out they're balloons. It's meh, to say the least. Next story, Sunrise. I'm trying to speed this up just a little bit. A 4 out of 5. Gave this ranking of 5 out of number 5. Awesome story. The person who goes up tries to take a picture of sunrise, and what does she comes across? Batman. And it was just a great dialogue between the two. And I like the very end, we actually see the picture. But normally would have been maybe a sunrise. It's actually her and Batman. So that's awesome. Next one, Neighborhood. 3 out of 5. Gave this a ranking at 28. It kind of is what it is. Not going to go much into this one. I'm going to say the art's sort of like Paul Pope. a little bit. Next one I'll be watching. Give this a 4 out of 5. Rank this number 11. Awesome story of someone who was kind of given a second chance by Batman, and is Batman really watching? Turned out he is. So this is a good story of redemption, and it was just a really nice story. Pretty interesting art too. Gargoyles of Gotham. 3 out of 5. Rank out of 29. Simple story, to be honest. It was okay in some parts. Just the gist of it really wasn't all that entertaining, to be honest. Next one, Snap. 3.5 out of 5. Rank out of number 19. This is the competition trying to get a picture of the Batman, and you see this is kind of almost reminds me a little bit like a Peter Parker, Abe Brock type approach. Twist at the end, kind of is what it is. So it was okay. Next one, The Best of Gotham, 2.5 out of 5, number 31. This is like really heavy prose, but it's basically a kind of like a travel's guide to Gotham, where to go to see some of the local attractions. And they kind of give a twist, and the Gotham twist with the rogues in there. So interesting, but for black and white, kind of like really. Yeah. Sidekick, 3 out of 5. Gave this a ranking of number 30. It was a crime story. It kind of is what it is. Some of these, again, just really no substance to it. But yeah, that's why kind of is what it is. Next one. This one was actually pretty good. Urban Renewal, 4 out of 5. Gave this a rank number 4. And it's basically all the structure. It's in Gotham, and it's references to the Silver Age and how they don't see the buildings back in those stories. Like at the big building, like the big looks like a big typewriter, and now it's kind of like all big skyscrapers. And it's someone actually trying to create like a book that captures all that old kind of architecture with the Silver Age. And it was just awesome. If you kind of like the dichotomy between the Silver Age and Modern Age, this is an awesome story. So that's why I kind of gave that story what it is. Next one, Riddle Me This, 3.5 out of 5. Actually ranked this number 17. This is written by Jug Winnick, and this is basically all it is riddles. And it's kind of juxtaposed with encounters with the Riddler, but really is not more than just short riddles. Give Jug Winnick credit for telling story nothing but riddles, but that's basically all it is. The Mob is Dead. Long Live the Mob. 3.5 out of 5. Ranking number 18. Street level detective story. Pretty simple. Kind of like a no-name individual trying to lead the government, not the government, the criminal underworld now. So it was decent. But yeah, again, that substance thing. Next one. This is actually Fear is Key. This is written by Jeff Johns. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Ranked this number 7. Awesome Scarecrow story. I really enjoyed the heck out of this. The twist, and this is basically him telling about all the things he fears and how his fears have evolved to now it's almost kind of like why he loves Batman, what the fear he brings. This was awesome. Great art with the story, which is really well done. Just fun. And lastly, The Gasworks, 3.5 out of 5, ranked this number 21. This is by Mike Mignola, and it's basically a sort of like a fear toxin gone wrong, where the criminals get their own dose of their own medicine. That's basically the gist of it. You actually see red, and I don't know. It was, and then that's something again that kind of goes through a lot in this volume is the stories that are good, but there's really no middle ground. It's either good or meh. So, kind of going through all the 4 volumes, I think this, to be honest, is probably the worst of the 4, but still a fun read. Overall, collectively, I would probably give this a 3 out of 5 with a recommend. I mean, these are always good things to read. They're short, 8-page stories, and you kind of go at your own pace. Some of them do better than others, but if you're really primed for the next volume, Batman Black and White, To be honest, recommend you get the whole thing. I actually upgraded. They actually have an omnibus that collects all 4 volumes into one, and it's awesome. But yeah, Batman Black and White, 3 out of 5 recommend. Just know them, but this one, you're getting some good stories that are obviously good, and again, really in the middle ground with the common theme of kind of like the subpar stories or have some benefits with them, but it's just substance, a little bit clunky. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Batman Black and White Volume 3. Hit me up in the comments below if you read this. We'll bat chat and go from there. I already have an idea for my next video. It's just when I can do it. For you Bat and Cat fans, be for you. And if you know the story I'm talking about, you kind of got the reference. So until next video, take care.